Okay, God of War 3. We're playing Hades boss fight, and this is a long and drawn out boss fight. It's very tough. You will need to bring the blades to level 2 in this fight, and the bow up to level 2. Very handy to have. Also to have the rage meter, the bottom right, filled up, just in case you want to use it. I don't use it, but I could have used it to expedite things, but I decided to just not use it and just show you all the phases of the fight. So this is it's very long, and the checkpoint system is kind of oddly spaced out. So the first one that you get occurs after the little sequence where he's tugging at your soul, and then the next one is not until you're vying for your place over the River Styx, and he's trying to drag you in. So that's about 10 minutes later, so you really got to have some stamina and just learn the patterns, because once you know what's going on and what he's going to do, he does the same thing every time. So, I mean, he moves around in different spots, but it's basically the same thing every single time. Now, he's going to hit you with his left claw and his right claw. The claw in his left hand can't reach you from where he is right now. The one in his right hand, though, has the length to reach you, so you need to either just dodge away. So you see, I didn't even move when that first claw hit. He does the left and then the right. So I parried that one, but it's not going to net you anything to parry. So just block it, or just roll from it if you want to. And just remember to compensate for that, because it's like the opposite now that he's where I was in the beginning of this fight. So just remember that the first one won't hit you unless you're close enough for it to reach you. So just keep blocking, keep using the bow and arrow. It's your best tool to fight this guy, because if you get too close to him, which is not recommended, he's going to try to stomp on you, and he's going to probably kill you in a couple hits, or maybe just one. I never risk it. So this is a very good method to deal with this guy. On easier difficulties, it's possible to just hit him, but this is chaos mode, so you got to watch your back for sure. So don't be on the ground when he gets on the ground there, because that will kill you in one hit. Now he's going to do these rope swings, and I don't like this phase. It seems like I'm just not good at it. It's kind of he always tries to fake you out what he's going to do. So he'll do the animation that's going for the lower one, then all of a sudden he'll go up, and then normally when he does the up one, he's going to do the ground one, so you got to jump over it. So the series of attacks that he does now is 2 chaining attacks at you that both reach you. So just block or parry, whatever you're most comfortable doing, and then in the lulls, start using your bow and arrow, and then that's all you need to do. Sometimes he spams the attack where he does the ropes, where you need to jump or just stay on the ground, and he spams it quite a bit. When you jump, you can do the bow and arrow in the ground, but remember, you got to get up pretty quickly. And this sequence over here where you're hitting him and then ripping a piece of his flesh off, which you have to then destroy. You do it twice, but I failed on the second try, just because sometimes you get unlucky and these Hades arms will grab you too much, and you have to hit this thing quickly. And I would recommend using the square triangle attack to damage it and then kind of stun the piece of flesh. I know it sounds odd, but that's what the square triangle move does. It stuns the enemy. And I failed on the second try, but over here you need to move, and he's gonna put the whole environment in a bunch of chains. So you need to move to the left, the right, or the bottom, depending on which area lights up most quickly. So he does that twice. Now, this phase is probably the most difficult for me, because he's going to do an attack that move right there that I use magic for, not to hit him really, but to just make sure that I don't get hit. Because it's hard to move around in this environment when he's so big, and that move, it really has so much area damage that it's so easy to get hit by it. The other move that he does, he tries to drag your soul out, or he'll just do blockable attacks that you can just block. So that one that he does that I use magic for to immune myself from getting hit, that one can't be blocked, so you can only roll away from it, and if you're too close to him, you're going to get damaged. It takes away quite a bit of damage. So this move right there that he does when he tries to suck you in or tear your soul out, that doesn't hurt you. It doesn't hurt you whatsoever. So as long as you complete the quick time event, you don't get any damage. So don't worry about getting overly hit with that move. It doesn't take away any. It's not a mistake or anything. So yeah, this phase can be pretty tough. So just be on your guard, definitely. Try to stay away from him, and then drop magic if he does that attack. So now he's going to start summoning these skulls from the wall, and then these can be parried. In the second phase, where he summons the Cerberus mongrels, those can't be those can't be killed other than a parry. So, and it doesn't, like, you can't deflect the dogs back at him the way you can deflect the skulls back at him here. So you just need to parry these skulls at the moment before impact, and then shoot them back at him. So you see, I missed that one. But if you block the skulls, you don't take damage. That should be important to note. Sometimes you can get the timing right. Sometimes you'll try to be shooting the projectiles back at him, and then you kind of get a little intimidated because at the moment of impact, he's also trying to hit you with his claws. So that can kind of mess you up sometimes. So just when you have a chance to use the bow and arrow, and then he's going to be doing these chain attacks, which you see now are in a series of 3. So make that a note in your head too. So here's the second little phase here where I'm ripping his flesh out, and this time I failed, and I didn't mind including this footage in because it can happen to you. It can happen to the best of us. So you see, if you're not on this piece of flesh, and if you miss it, because I simply couldn't see, it's so dark in this game. See, I clearly missed it that time. So if that happens to you, it's not an egregious loss. I mean, don't worry too much. You just lose a little bit of progress. So you're back on this phase here. And like I said, it happens to the very best of us. No one's perfect. This is not a perfect run of the game, a no-hit run or anything like that. This is me just trying to do my best. And, a little failure like that is okay in my book because, it's tough. This is not an easy fight. So now we get a second chance to do what we did before, and, you can make up for what you did. So remember to just do the square triangle move, and it's mostly important to just make as much contact with the piece of flesh as you can, because then that will determine its fate, and then it'll be gone. So once you complete this, then he's going to summon the chains in the environment again. So you need to stay directly in the center, and then just look in all 3. Kind of just look out of the corner of your eye which one's lighting up the fastest, and then just roll. It gives you plenty of time if you're familiar with it and if your reflexes are good enough. So you notice I have my rage meter all the way up, and traditionally I just activate the rage to the Titans and just go to town on him with the Blade of Olympus. So I decided not to do that this time, simply because I just wanted to show people, if they didn't have that, like this phase of the fight, which I don't like whatsoever. It doesn't really make sense that these dogs are being summoned here. So here I'm just blocking them to show you that you can block them without getting damaged, and you can even try to kill them. But you see, I tried to hit them too, but they're not like objects in the physical world that can be hit. I think that's how the game is considering them or treating them as. So the only thing that can destroy them is it's a parry. So when these chains rear up from the ground, you have plenty of time to just move around, and I wouldn't recommend rolling. So here I'm going to start trying to show you how to parry these guys. So you see, even parrying, it doesn't like net you anything like towards the boss's loss. It only just gets them out of the way for a second. So by all means, if you have the Blade of Olympus and you can use the rage attack, just finish him off. It's just you might as well. This is not that interesting of a fight segment anyway, and it just seems just kind of like a formality here that we're dealing this, and these dogs, it's just like you should be able to like maybe get some splash damage from a parry of the dog and deal some damage to the boss. That would just make a little bit more sense to me. So anyway, when you have a chance, just use your bow and arrow and just block his attacks, and just move around when the spikes come up from the ground. The spikes give you plenty of chance to move. You just don't want to be in the purple area, obviously, when the spike comes up. So I almost haven't finished off here. And remember, if you die here, you have to start back at the first checkpoint, way back at the very beginning of this video. So you really need to have a lot of practice with this boss. And if you die, just don't worry, because I actually died a lot of times just because I was screwing up, and some of the times I even just let him kill me because I was dissatisfied with the run I was getting. And I'm not a perfectionist on this boss because it's very tough. And so here's the checkpoint area, and you can't jump, and you might be thinking, well, how am I supposed to evade his swipes if I can't jump? The thing is, you're supposed to evade, let's roll through his swipes to hit him. See how I'm just rolling through and I'm not taking damage. And don't concern yourself too much with trying to get too far away from the river, because if you go into the river, there's a quick time button event that you can just press the circle button for, and you're not going to fall in the river, so it's all fine. So the jab that I did at him was with the circle button a couple times, and you see he's trying to drag me into the river, but it's fine. You're not going to get damaged, and you actually get out pretty well, and you can just start using the square attack, and then just evade. This can be kind of odd of a fight, and it is, and that's why they give you a checkpoint. So it can kind of, he has a lot of HP. This guy is a tough son of a bitch. That's damn certain. So remember, he just has that claw attack and the swipe attack, and then you're constantly trying to tug yourself back. It's interesting. I like this. I like this fight. Like the theory of how this works. It just I don't find it too enjoyable. But that's just me, and it's going to differ from person to person. So again, don't be overly concerned with pressing the down button to move away, because if you do that, you're kind of just going to work against yourself, and you're going to be moving away when you can just be potentially hitting him. So really, don't worry about dying here, because you have a checkpoint to fall back on, so you could try to do your best here without getting damaged. So just do the circle, and when you get the circle prompt over his head, all you need to do is press the circle button. You don't have to try to jump over the river or something like that. Don't worry about that. So there's a little sequence of QuickTime buttons here, I think. Maybe it's just tapping the circle button. A lot of the times it's just tapping the circle button. Yeah, so tapping the circle button. And then once you acquire the blades over here, I think you actually get a checkpoint here, so that's my mistake. You get 4 checkpoints in this boss fight. So this is the 3rd checkpoint you get over here when you acquire the Claws of Hades. And you can't switch the weapons. It would be nice to, because this weapon is not the best of weapons. I would prefer using the other weapons over to this one. So that's why I'm kind of grab killing these guys. You have to use the blades on the boss. I mean, the Claws of Hades on the boss fight in the next phase, which can be pretty damn difficult. So when he comes up, you need to use those grappling points to your advantage to get behind him and hit him, because he's got a lot of area damage when he does his ground attacks with his hands. So just keep moving around, keep hitting. The move that I'm doing is a square triangle move, just because I'm comfortable doing that move. And then when his back is to me, I'm using the triangle button as much as I can to deal more damage to him. And just always be on the lookout for those grappling points. The second you see it, press the R1 button and get over to the other side. It's just the way it works is that you're just trying to damage him as much as you can, and if you can get behind him, you can deal a lot of damage without any risk of getting hit whatsoever. So that breath attack that he does, if you're caught in that, obviously you're going to be killed on chaos mode. But it's right in the middle of the arena every time. So if you're on the left or right, you're not going to get hit with it. And of course, if you're on the other side, so he slammed me down home right there. Took a lot of damage. I think that was the only time I got hit. You're only allowed so many hits on this fight. So also don't be concerned about dying here either, because if you die, you don't have to start back on the river Styx. You only have to start where this guy comes out of the river again. All the enemies that you cleared to prior to his emergence again, those are all going to be cleared for you. So this is a hard fight. I like this boss fight though. It takes some doing. And this part here, I wanted to note, when you're getting over here and you're tapping the L1 and R1 button, it's badly made that it doesn't tell you you have to do it extremely fast here, because it's just doing the animation in the normal manner. So I was just tapping the buttons, in a leisurely manner that normally allows me to beat it, but I failed the QuickTime event, and there was a little edit there because I had to do that sequence over again. and you lose a little bit of progress and you have to do it over again. But remember, tapping those L1 and R1 buttons very, very rapidly to win that QuickTime event. It's not made well. If they're going to tell you to do it faster, then the little animation should be going faster or something. There should be a meter. Anyway, head on down here to get the Godly Possession, and then we're going to hit the save point, and then that's it. Thanks for watching, and I hope everybody can beat Hades.